This is the shocking reason why you keep staying in a relationship you are unhappy with. This is not just with you alone. This is happening to millions of people all over the world. My name is Randy Lloyd, and I am a professional online coach, and I help tons of people all over the world to manage their personal development and have happy relationships. And when it comes to helping couples, I have seen this phenomenon all the time. So I have researched to understand, despite feeling unhappy, why you stay in relationships that you are not fulfilled. So I have discovered these 4 psychological reasons, and this video will walk you through these reasons. The last one is really important, and not only that, I will guide you into how to overcome these psychological reasons. First up, the loss aversion. We often prefer to avoid losses rather than acquire equivalent gains. So the fear of losing even an unhappy relationship can be very strong. Let me explain this further by giving you a story. Imagine a man named Alex who has a smartphone that's a couple of years old. It's not the latest model and it has its perks. The battery drains quickly, the screen is slightly cracked, and it's slower than the newer models his friends have. But Alex is attached to this phone. It has all his favorite apps, photos, and messages. He spent a lot of time customizing it, and it's been with him through many important moments in his life. One day, Alex's parents offered to buy him a brand new phone. This new phone has all the latest features, a better camera, and a battery that lasts all day. However, Alex hesitates. He knows his old phone isn't the best, but he's used to it. He's comfortable with its layout and he's familiar with all its functions, even the quirky ones. The thought of losing all the time he spent setting it up, the familiarity, and the memories associated with it makes him anxious. Despite the clear benefits of the new phone, Alex leans towards keeping his old one. This scenario is similar to the psychological concept of loss aversion. In simple terms, the pain of losing is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining. There is another reason why you stay in unhappy relationships. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. This is the idea that one should continue a relationship because of the time, effort, and the resources already invested, even if continuing is making them unhappy. The focus is on what they stand to lose rather than what they might gain by moving on. Imagine a lady named Emma who loves playing an online video game. She is invested months into this game, building her character, acquiring rare items, and climbing up the ranks. However, over time, the game starts to lose its charm. It's no longer as fun as it used to be, and Emma finds herself feeling frustrated and bored more often than not. But there is a new game that all her friends are talking about, which seems much more exciting and enjoyable. Despite this, Emma hesitates to switch games. She thinks about all the time and effort she's put into her current game. She reached high levels, collected unique items, and has a sense of status and achievement. The thought of leaving all this behind and starting from scratch in a new game feels overwhelming. She feels like all her effort would be wasted if she stopped playing now, even though she's not enjoying it anymore. This situation is a classic example of the sunk cost fallacy in relationships. Just like Emma with her video game, people sometimes stay in relationships because they have invested a lot of time, effort, and emotions into them, even if the relationship is no longer making them happy. The third psychological reason is called the familiarity bias. Our brains are wired to prefer what's familiar, even if it's detrimental to us. It's why we sometimes choose to stay in unhappy relationships. They're familiar, and familiarity feels safe. Human beings are generally creatures of habit. We derive comfort from familiarity even when it's not the best for us. Imagine a man named Tyler who has been wearing the same pair of sneakers over a year. These sneakers are worn out. The color has faded and they're not as comfortable as they used to be. Tyler's friends have pointed out that it's time for a new pair. And they've even shown him some cool new styles in the store. However, Tyler keeps hesitating. Why? Because those sneakers are familiar to him. He's worn them everywhere, to school, to the park, and they've been part of many good memories. They fit his feet perfectly, molded by long-term use. The thought of breaking in new sneakers, getting used to their feel, and possibly not liking them as much makes Tyler stick to his old pair despite their worn-out condition. This is an example of the familiarity bias in relationships. Just like Tyler with his sneakers, people often stay in relationships because they're familiar and comfortable. They know what to expect, even if it's not perfect or even if there are better options out there. The fear of the unknown, of starting over with someone new, of having to adapt to a different person's habits and quirks can be daunting. The predictability of a current partner, their habits, and even the dynamics of conflict, despite being negative, can feel less intimidating. The last reason why you keep staying in a relationship you are unhappy with is called attachment anxiety. This refers to a form of anxiety associated with intense fears of abandonment, rejection, and a deep need for reassurance and validation from one's partner. Imagine a 19-year-old college student named Sarah who has been dating Jordan for over a year. Sarah is deeply in love with Jordan, but she constantly worries about their relationship. She often finds herself checking her phone every few minutes for texts from Jordan. And if Jordan doesn't reply quickly, Sarah starts to feel anxious and thinks something is wrong. She always needs reassurance that Jordan loves her and wants to be with her. Sarah's friends have noticed that she cancels plans with them if there's a chance to see Jordan, even if it's just for a short while. She always concerns about where Jordan is, who he's with, and what he's doing. When they're together, Sarah frequently asks if everything is okay between them, seeking constant validation of Jordan's feelings for her. This behavior is a classic example of attachment anxiety in relationships. Sarah's intense fear of losing Jordan and her constant need for reassurance and validation stems from this anxiety. She's so worried about the possibility of being abandoned or the relationship ending that it starts to dominate her thoughts and actions. This fear can be so overwhelming that it leads her to behave in ways that are clingy or overly dependent on Jordan for her emotional well-being. People with attachment anxiety often struggle with the idea of being alone and may stay in relationships even if they are not entirely happy, because the fear of not being in a relationship is far greater. Often linked with attachment anxiety is the issue of low self-esteem. People with attachment anxiety may believe they don't deserve better treatment or that they won't find someone else who will accept and love them. This belief can keep them attached to an unhappy relationship as they perceive it as their only chance at love and connection. Now, I want to share a technique that helps many to leave relationships they are not happy in. It's called the reframing your narrative. By changing how we view our past experiences, we can alter our relationship patterns. Let me show you how this works. Begin by recognizing the story you're telling yourself about your relationship. This narrative might include beliefs like, I can't be happy without this person, or I've invested too much to leave now. Acknowledge these thoughts without judgments. Then, examine the beliefs that underpin your narrative. Are they based on facts or are they assumptions? For instance, the belief that you can't be happy alone is an assumption, not a fact. Questioning these assumptions is crucial to reframing your narrative. Then you are going to write a new narrative for yourself. Instead of a story of loss and dependency, craft one that highlights your strength, resilience, and potential for happiness. For example, change I need this relationship to be happy to I have the strength to find happiness with God and in new experiences. Lastly, seek support. Share your new narrative with trusted friends or a coach. They will guide you into making the steps necessary to leave an unhappy relationship. If you find this video valuable, please subscribe to our channel. We are trying to grow and help 100,000 people this year to have peace of mind and have a happy relationship. And that person can be you.